Should we wait for 5 minutes? Hello. Good morning to all of you. I think we should wait for 5 minutes so that maximum people can join the lecture. I am audible to all of you? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we will wait for 5 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So I am visible to all of you? It is 61. All of you are able to see the PPTs? Yes?
Yes, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
I think all of you are able to see the PPTs.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now,
No, sir.
No, sir.
now you are able to see?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I think we should start now. I think maximum number of people have joined. Okay. I think total number of strength is 69, na? 68. Hello.
Sir, students are more, but approximately these many join online lectures.
Okay. Means other people they could not join it.
Yeah, they are probably out of network.
Okay. ठीक है. So somebody can make the recording so that those who are not present they can go through the recording also. Okay. I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Guys, in this semester, in the 7th semester, we will deal with the water resources engineering 2. In the water resources engineering 1, you might have studied about the water requirement of crops, hydrology, then well irrigations, then reservoir planning, and all the portions that we have, I think you might have studied. But in WRE 2, we will see all the portion about the dams, spillway, the different types of dams and all these things. Okay. Now we will see our first of all syllabus. Now the water resource engineering 2, in which the complete total portion is 150 marks. So you have the 20 marks for test 1, 20 marks for the test 2, and for your end semester exam will be 80 marks. And your term work mainly consists of the 25 marks. 25 marks for the term work and 25 marks for the oral. So I think it is total will be the 150. I am audible to all of you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we will see now in this water engineering, water resources engineering 2, we will deal with the 6th module. And in first 3 or 4th module, we will study about the gravity dams, different types of dams, gravity dams, earthen dam, rockfill dams, then spillway and flood control works. So from the model number, after the model number 3, we will be entering into the canal distribution networks. I am audible to?
Yes, sir.
I think there is some disturbance from the student. Please mute your phones. I request the student to mute your phones so that we can have the clear conversation. So from the model number 4, we will enter into the canal distribution networks, where we will study about the how to design the canal by the Canadian analysis methods, and differentiation and some drawbacks in Canadian analysis, and some part of the introduction of sediment transport in channels. Now in model number 5th and 6th, we will deal with the different classification of canal, alignment of canals, maintenance, how to find out the discharge through canals, and then some canal structures are there. Okay, so in this WRE,
Rats everywhere.
please guys make your phone.
At least you're going to get what you've always wanted. And what's that?
Please guys, I request all the students, please mute your mic. So in the WRE2, we will have the 6 models. In first 3 models, we will deal with the dams, and for the second 3 models, we will deal with the canal distribution networks from the dam. Okay. Now your distribution of marks, when we have the term work for the 25 marks, the assignment will be for 20 marks and attendance for the 5 marks. Okay. while studying the water resource engineering too, you must have used the irrigation and water power engineering for BC Punmiya and irrigation engineering and hydraulic structure SK Garg. So while studying the WRE2, you must have to use these two books. And I think I have shared these two books with the BC divisions. So I will again share with you. I have the PDF of both the BC Punme and SK Garg. Why you have to use these two books? Because in one book in SK Garg you will find out the better theory, but in BC Punme you will find out the problems. Okay, so you have to refer both the books, and whatever the PPT I am sharing with you, you can also use as a notes for the your subjects. Okay, so after this end of this course, you will be able to learn about how to find out the different how to analyze the different types of stresses which will be developed into the dam, and how to design the earthen dam and the types of earthen dam. Then you will be able to design the canal by using the what we call as the Kennedy's theory and Lacey's theory, and we will see how the canal network structures will be how the canal network structure will be existing in a particular manner. Okay, so I am audible to all of you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now in the figure you can see here, there are three different components. The first is the reservoir, the second is the dam, and third is the spillway. Okay. Now the reservoir is nothing but it is the artificial structure. It is the artificial lake created by constructing a dam across a river, so that a dam and a reservoir exist together. So a reservoir is nothing but it is the artificial lake which has been created by constructing the dam across the river. Okay. So whatever the water which we have stored in the reservoirs, it can be utilized for the different purposes such as the water supply, irrigation and power generations throughout the year. Okay. Now, depending upon the spreading area of a reservoir, depending upon the water that we have collected in the reservoirs, the more amount of area will be submerged into it. Okay. Now, when we have the heavy rainfall or heavy precipitations in a particular river, and when we have the large amount of inflow in the river, in such cases, we can discharge the water when we have the heavy rainfall or heavy flood in a particular river from the upstream side to the downstream sides. So whenever the water we have stored in the reservoir, so for that particular portion we call as the upstream portions, and when we releases the water from upstream to the downstream or from the spillway from downstream side, we call it as the downstream portions. Okay. Now the dam is nothing but it is the impervious structure, or it is the hydraulic structure of a fairly impervious material which is built across a river to create a reservoir on its upstream side for storing water or impounding water for the various purposes. Okay. Now in the figure you can see the dam is a impervious structure which is constructed across a river so that the large amount of water will be stored into it. So whatever the area that will be submerged depending upon the water spread of the reservoir. So whatever the area that will be submerged depending upon the area in which the water has been spread into the reservoir. Okay. Now whatever the water we have stored in the upstream side of the dam, that is in the reservoir, that water we will be utilized for the different purposes such as the irrigation, water supply and hydroelectric power generations. Okay. Now in this figure, the third component is the spillway. So spillway is nothing but it is the structure which is generally utilized to escape the extra water during the flood from upstream side to the downstream side. so that we can have the maximum storage in the reservoirs. So, are you able to understand whatever we are discussing?
Sir.
Huh?
Sir, can you please hold your cell phone horizontal?
Okay. PPT. Okay, PPT, I should make it horizontal, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will only wait. Now it is okay?
Yes, sir.
No. Okay, I will make, we will see the PPT one by one. If you make the slideshow, then it will be not easy for me. Okay? So, are you able to understand whatever we have discussed about the reservoir, dam and spillway? Yes? Okay, I think you understood whatever we have discussed. Now we will move toward the next slide. You can see the purpose of the dam is, we have discussed about it is for drinking water, irrigation, for the flood control. Also we have for the hydropower generations, navigations, and for the different purposes. Okay. Now we will see the classification of dams depending upon the functions what we are utilizing. Generally, we have the classification of dam based on the material of construction, that is the rigid and non-rigid. Based on the structural behavior, we have the gravity dam, arch dam, buttress dam, embankment dam. Based on the functions, we have the storage dam, detention dam, diversion dam, coffer dam. And based on the hydraulic behavior, we have the overflow dam and non-overflow dam. Now, in this WRE2, we will mainly focusing on the based on the structural behavior, that is the gravity dam. And we will see the theory about only arch dam, buttress dam and embankment. And generally, we will see the three different types of dams. The only will be earthen dam, rockfill dam and gravity dam. Okay. Now we will see these types of dam in details one by one. So we will see the detailed classification of the dams. So depending upon the functions that we have served, the first is we have the storage dam. So storage dam is nothing but it is the dam which are constructed to store the water during the rainy seasons when there is a large flow in the river. So in the figure you can see we have constructed on the dam across the river so that it can store the water during the rainy season or whenever we have the large flow in the river. The example of storage dam may be the gravity dam, earthen dam and rockfill dam. So whatever the water we have stored in the storage dams, that water we will be utilized for the number of purposes, maybe such for the multi-purposes like irrigation, water supply, hydropower generations. Okay. And this storage dam can be constructed by the variety of material such as the stone, concrete, earth, rockfill. Okay. Now we have the second classification is detention dam. The detention dams are the dams which are constructed for the flood controls. So whatever the water that we will be, so whenever the flood will be occur in a particular river, in such situations we will store the water in a detention dams, and whatever the water we have stored during the floods, that water will be released when the flood will recede. Okay. Now this is the first one type of detention dam. In second type of detention dam, what we are doing, we are holding some amount of water in the reservoir. In second type of detention dam, we are holding or we are let them the water to hold in the reservoir as long as for the more times, so that the water would be seeps into the foundation strata, and due to which what will happen, the adjoining wells and adjoining water supply level will be increased in the subsurface. Okay. So due to the storage of the water in the reservoirs, large amount of water will be seep into the foundations, due to which the water level in the subsurface area will be increased, and whatever the level that increase, whatever the level we have increased of water, so we can utilize it for the development of the well, and also we can utilize for the lift irrigation purposes. So the example of the detention dams are the dike, water spreading dam, and debris dam. So all of you able to understand this? Yes, you are able to understand now? All students, other students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the second classification is divergent dam. Now we have seen the storage dam. The function of storage dam is to store the water, but the function of the divergent dam, as the name is diversion, therefore this type of dams are generally constructed across the river to divert the water through the canals. Okay. Now in this figure you can see here, the water is flowing in the river, and we have constructed one weir or barrages. Okay. Now the weir or barrages is nothing but these are the divergent dams which are constructed across the river, so that the water level in the river will rises. The water level in the river will rise, and whatever the head we have achieved, that head can be utilized to divert the water to the adjacent the canal. Okay. Now in this figure you can see here, water is flowing in the river, and across the river we have constructed one the weir or barrages, due to which the water level in the river has been raised, and whatever the head or water level that we have raised, that has been transmitted or that has been diverted into the adjacent canal, so that the water will be carried through the canal distribution networks, and eventually it will be aimed into the farmer's land. Okay. So the divergent dams are usually of a low height. So divergent dams are usually low height as compared to the storage dams, and has a small storage reservoir on its upstreams. In case of the storage dams, there may be the large height of storage dam will be there, and you may have the large volume of reservoir will be there. But in case of the weirs or barrages, we generally having the low height and a small storage reservoir will be there on the upstream side of the divergent dam. The example of the divergent dams are the weir or barrages. Okay. Now, based on the hydraulic design, we have the overflow dam and non-overflow dams. As the word overflow is there, the overflow dams are generally designed to act as the overflow structures, because whatever the surplus water that we cannot retain in the reservoirs during the floods, whatever the extra water or surplus water which we cannot retain in the reservoir during the floods, that water we are allowed or permitted to pass over the crest of the overflow dams. Whatever the water which we cannot retain in the reservoir is permitted, or it is passed over the crest of the dam, which act as the spillway. So in the figure you can see, in the first figure you can see the maximum level of water, that is the full reservoir level, and above the full reservoir level, that is the high flood level is there. So whatever the depth of water that we calculated between the full reservoir level and high flood level, that depth of water we will be allowed to glide over the crest of the overflow dams. Okay. The overflow dam, therefore the overflow dam is generally made up of a material which does not erode by the action of overflowing water. So whatever the material that we have used for the construction of overflow dam, it should not erode by the kinetic energy of the water which is flowing from upstream to the downstreams. Generally, cement concrete is generally used in overflow dams and the spillway as overflow dam. Now, in the second figure, you can see it is the non-overflow dam. As the word is non-overflow means we are not permitted to pass the water from upstream side to the downstream sides. Therefore, we have provided one freeboard. Okay. Now the freeboard is nothing but it is the extra height which is provided above the full reservoir level up to the high elevation of the dam, so that we can store the maximum amount of water, and we are not permitting or we are not allowing the water to flow from upstream to the downstream sides. Okay. So the non-overflow dams are a non-overflow dam is designed so that there is no overflow it, and top of the dam is higher elevation than full reservoir level. So based on the another classification is based on the material. So based on the material, we have the rigid dams. So the dams are whenever the dams are constructed by the rigid materials like the masonry, concrete, steel, or timber, we call it as the rigid dams. The example of the rigid dams may be the concrete gravity dam, steel dam, concrete buttress dam. The non-rigid dams are the dams which are constructed by the non-rigid materials such as the earth or rock fill. The example for the non-rigid dams are the combined earth fill and rock fill dam. Based on according to the height of the dam, we will see the classification according to the height of the dam, high dam or large dam. If the height of the dam is bigger than 100 meter, we call it as the high dam or large dam. So in our India, the Bhakra dam, it is having the height of more than 100 meters. So I think it is the height of 286 meter is the height of Bhakra dam. The medium dam, if the height of the dam is between the 50 meter and 100 meter, we call it as the medium dam. And a low dam or small dam, when the height of the dam is lower than 50 meter, we call it as the low dam. So all of you are able to understand this, the classification of dams. Okay. You are.
Yes, sir.
Now we will see some factor which are responsible or for the selection of the particular type of dam site. We will see this. It is mainly consist of the different factors. The first will be the topography, geology. Second will be geology. Third will be the foundation condition. What should be the foundation conditions? Then what should be the availability of material, spillway size and location, earthquake and reservoir. Okay. Now the topographically most suitable place must be chosen. Topographically most suitable place must be chosen for the construction of the dam. But ideally it must be a narrow gorge or narrow valley. Ideally, it must be a narrow gorge or narrow valley with enough catchment area available behind it, so that the calculated water can be easily stored in the reservoir in an upstream side. So in the figure, you can see the water is flowing into the river and dam is constructed across the river. Now, it must be having the narrow valley or narrow gorge. Whenever we have a narrow valley or narrow gorge at a particular site, the length of the dam will be less. Whenever we have the length of the dam will be less, the construction cost will be less. Okay. So whenever we are dealing with the topography, we must be select the dam locations according to the topography. it must have the narrow valley for the small length of the dam for economy. So whenever we have the small or narrow valley, the length of the dam will be less, due to which the construction cost will be less. But along with this, it must have the large catchment area, so that whatever the water we have calculated, it must be stored in the upstream side of the reservoir. But when we are considering the height, it should store the maximum volume of water in the upstream side of the reservoir. Okay. Now, generally, U-shaped valley are preferred for the construction of concrete gravity dam. And whenever we have the narrow V-shaped valley, which is generally preferred for the construction of the arch dam. And whenever we have the rolling plain, then earth-filled dam with the separate spillway can be constructed. Okay. Now, when we see the geological characteristics, we must have to study the surface and subsurface. Surface and subsurface study must be having, so that we can consider the composition and structure of the rocks which are available below the ground. Now, if you see the geology of the site, we must have to see some deep and dikes. Okay, and then we must have to see what are the faults are available, if there are any faults are available in the given rock foundations. If we found out some amount of fault zones in a particular area, and whenever we are decided to construct the dam in the fault zones, it must be able to, or it must be liable to shock during an earthquake. And whenever we have the small scale of faults in the rocks, then it can be easily treated by the grouting. And whenever we have the faults in the, whenever we have large amount of faults in the rocks, you can see in the diagram. In such cases, there may be the chances of stressing of the limbs. So when we decided to construct the dams in the faults region, it might be the chance of risk of the leakage from the beneath of the dams. Okay. Now in the first figure, if you see the strike direction, the strike direction, it is the one in which the bed strike is parallel to the axis of the dam. So it is the most unfavorable conditions. So in the second diagram, you can see the direction of the strike is not parallel to the axis of the dam. Therefore, it is the unfavorable conditions. And when we are seeing the gently upstream dipping layers offer the better resistance to the resultant force which are acting on the dams. Okay. So when we are considering the geological characteristics of the dams, we must have to study the subsurface rocks, the composition and the fractures, if there are any faults, if there are any folds available in the dams, if there are any faults or any folds available in the rocks, so that we can avoid the construction of the dams in such faulties and folds and strict direction areas. Okay. Now, if you see the foundation conditions, okay. So whenever we have decided to construct, any particular dam on a site, we must be able to see what type of rocks are available there. If the solid rock foundation is available at a particular site, means if the rock is like granite, genesis are available at a particular site, so such type of rocks, they have the very strong foundations and they have the capability to bear the weight of the dam. And solid rocks also have the very less resistance capacity for the percolations, so that there will not be having any uplift pressures. And if you are having the solid rocks at a particular site, then every type of dam can be built on the solid rock foundations. Okay. Now, at a particular site, if we have some amount of coarse sand and gravel is available at a particular site, So coarse sand and gravels has a capacity to take the coarse sand and gravels have the capacity so that they can percolate large quantity or large volume of water, due to which what will happen, the coarse sand and gravels are unable to bear the weight of the dam. So in such situations, it is suitable for the earthen and rockfill dams. So whenever you have the foundation of the coarse sand and gravels, we are not give the suggestion for the construction of gravity dams. So in gravel foundations, we are generally allowing the 50-meter height of low dams. Above the 50 meters, we will not be allowing for the construction of the dams over the coarse sand and gravel. And if such type of foundations are available in a particular site, it have a high permeability. Due to the high permeability, there will be the chances of the settlement of the foundation of the dams, and high percolation pressure will be available. If at a particular site, if you find out the silt and fine sand type of foundation, in such cases, we will generally allow to construct the height of up to 8 meter for a low gravity dams in such type of foundations. So in silt and fine sand foundations, we are not allowing to construct the concrete gravity dams. So rockfill dam is also not suitable for the site whenever we have the silt and fine sand foundations, because in such cases there may be the excessive seepage and a possibility of settlement of the dams as well as the dam foundation will be there. If you have the clay foundation at a particular site, in such cases, whenever we have the high moisture conditions, it may causes the settlement of the foundation as well as the dam. So whenever we have the clay foundation, in such cases, we are generally able to give the permission for the construction of earth dam, and we will not give the permission for the construction of the gravity or rockfill dams. Now the next is, now you are able to understand this, all of this? Yes? All of you are able to understand now whatever we are discussing? Hello?
Yes, sir.
It is not too hurry or it is not too fast now? Hello? Please, other people, you must respond.
Yes, sir. It is perfect.
It is.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the second factor, the next factor that is responsible for the selection of dam is availability of material. So whenever we have decided to construct a particular dam, for the economy point of view, the material must be easily available, like the sand, cement, stone. If they are not easily available at a particular site, then the cost of the construction of the dam will be increased, because whenever the basic materials are far away from the dam site, the transportation cost will be increased, due to which your cost of the dam will also increase. Okay. Now the next is the spillway and spillway size and location. So all the dams should have the adequate spillway for the passing of the flood water. So all the dam, it should have the adequate spillway for the passing of the flood water. If the river valley is a narrow gorge, but if at the river valley there is a small valley or a small gorge will be there, in such positions or in such cases, it is not possible to provide the width for the spillway. Okay, in such cases, it is not possible to provide the sufficient width for the spillway, so that we should find the suitable location on the periphery of the reservoirs. That will be the useful. Okay. So the narrow river valley does not provide the sufficient spillway width available. So we should find out the suitable locations in the periphery of the reservoir. The next factor, which is governing, that is the earthquake zone. So whenever we have decided to construct the dam in a earthquake zone, then we must have to consider what are the earthquake forces. That is we must have to consider the horizontal acceleration, vertical accelerations during the designing of the dams in the earthquake zone, and it should give the surety, so that whatever the stresses which are developed due to the earthquake accelerations, that must be easily registered by the weight of the dam in the worst conditions. Okay. So whatever the stresses that will be developed in a dam due to the earthquake accelerations, that stresses must be easily registered by the weight of the dam. Who is there? Please, guys, maintain silence. The next will be the reservoir. So whatever the water that we are storing on the upstream side of the dams, it should be watertight, and large amount of water should not be escaped from the side walls. Okay. Then we have to consider this average quantity of sediment. Then we have to consider the average quantity of sediment that is carried by the river, which has to be known precisely as possible. So that will be the given idea. That will be the give idea about the rate of water which is to be proposed for the reservoir. Okay. So the average quantity of sediment carried by the river has to be known as per as the possible, so that which would be given us the idea of the rate of flow at which the proposed water has to be filled. Okay. The next is the value of land and property submerged. That should be the lay sign having the minimum width. Okay. Now for the today's lecture, we will be end at this point. In the next lecture, we will be starting with the detailed study about the gravity dam. Okay. So
Okay, sir.
okay. So all of you are okay with this presentation?
Yes, sir.
So you can.
Yes, sir.
So I will share my presentation with you.
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow lectures or maybe the next week lectures, so that you can refer as the notes for your exam also. Okay.
Okay.
You can use the notes for.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now in the next week,
Okay, sir.
in the next week we will combine the B and C division from the design of from the detailed study about the gravity dam. Okay. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we will combine lectures B and C division, so that we can continuously complete our syllabus. Okay. Now, if I will arrange tomorrow lecture for the B C division, then B and C division will be equally combined for the next lectures. Okay. And yes, you just submit the today's attendance on WhatsApp, so that I can enter in our attendance sheet. Okay.
Sir, how to submit roll number?
Roll number wise, those who are present, you can give to someone also. You can take the screenshot also.
Okay, sir.
Because the attendance is compulsory. Because I think in this semester, whenever the college will not be open, so we have to carry all the lectures through online lectures, and the attendance will be definitely considered for your IA1. ठीक है? For the today's presentations, uh, you can submit your queries in the chat box, or you can also give the suggestions. The presentation it is okay, or it is somewhat speedy, it must be slow, okay? So that from the next lectures, I will be able to change the scenario. Okay, I will share the PDF of books also. Attendance you can submit to the Yash. Okay, guys. So I think it is enough for today's lecture. So tomorrow or maybe next week we will come with this C division also. हाँ बोला.